I'm gonna do something you've never seen before, and I'm gonna start this video, sponsored by MSI, with all of the worst things about the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus. They went and they took a great looking product. Seriously, this thing looks outstanding. And they went and they bolted AI on the product name. And that's it. That's kind of all I got, because on paper, the Claw 8 AI Plus is a huge upgrade over the original MSI Claw. For starters, look at that screen. It's 8 flipping inches. And those bezels, man, pretty small. All right, let's do a quick external tour here. We got a whole lot of nothing on the bottom. At the top, that's right, not one, but 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, meaning that you could use this thing as a fully fledged PC with a Thunderbolt dock. We've got our volume controls, headphone jack, power button with fingerprint sensor. Pretty nice feeling shoulder and triggers. She is a little bit on the heavier side, but I promise the heft comes with some benefits, because inside, this thing is equipped with Intel's new Lunar Lake Core Ultra 7 258V. That means on top of having Intel's latest CPU architecture, it uses their new Arc Battlemage GPU, which means that the Claw has gone from clawing its way toward the competition to clawing the competition. This thing looks absolutely flipping outstanding. By the way, I missed, there's a micro SD slot at the top. On the back, we've got a couple of paddle buttons as well as ample cooling intakes for the dual fan cooler. Nice contoured grip. And on the front, we've got a couple of what look like nearly full-size joysticks. Oh, that feels like a much improved D-pad. Xbox style face buttons, and of course, Xbox style buttons, as well as a couple buttons that we'll figure out what they do once we get this thing fired up, shall we? While it's booting up, let's take a look at what's in the box. We've got not much. There's a quick start guide and a 65-watt charger with integrated cable. Not my preferred style of charger, but hey, at least there's a charger in the box. Oh, this is fun. Okay, sorry, we will fire it up in a second, but first I wanna show you guys the easy access SSD upgrade slot. I'm just gonna open that up with my LTT precision screwdriver set, lttstore.com. That's right, MSI, you can sponsor the video, but you can't make me stop including my own stuff. While we're opening it up, why don't we talk specs? She's got 32 gigs of LPDDR5X memory running at a whopping 8533 megatransfers per second, which is really important for both the system responsiveness as well as GPU performance, because when you've got an integrated graphics card, of course it's gonna be using your system memory as VRAM, so the faster, the better. Oi! There she goes. It is a 30mm M.2, so you're not gonna be able to put a full-size one in there, but it is easy to access, and it's 1 terabyte out of the box. What else is in here? We've got integrated Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4. We've got their new IntraFlow thermal design, which helps keep everything cool, not just the CPU, and integrated Arc GPU. We've got a gigantic battery. That's a big contributor to the 795 gram weight. That thing is 80 watt hours, and MSI claims that they can get over 20 hours of battery life in endurance mode playing back video. We didn't quite match that. We ended up at around 17 hours, but we tested it under different conditions, and I gotta say, 17 hours is still a really impressive result. Oh, that's still on. Especially when you consider that it powers a larger screen than other similar devices. Of course, you guys are far less concerned with how long you can watch videos on it. You guys are more concerned with gaming, and MSI claims up to 4 hours gaming on low settings, and we got nearly 2 hours under a torture test worst case scenario. So I actually find that to be quite believable. Now let's flip things over and have a look at the screen. I already told you guys it's 8 inches, so it's obviously flipping huge, but it's even bigger than you would think, because it's 16 by 10 aspect ratio, 1920 by 1200. So that is a larger 8-inch display than if it was 16 by 9. In fact, it's 37% larger than the original Claw. It also hits up to 500 nits peak brightness according to MSI, and runs it up to 120 Hertz with support for variable refresh rate. That is a really nice display on a mobile gaming device. They completely retooled their software, so you can go in there and make adjustments to your power profile, for instance. You can, here actually, let's get it fired up here. You can change your controller scheme. You can adjust your RGB. We got this AI engine thing here, which as far as we can tell, tries to kind of adjust the system settings depending on what applications you're running in practice. We actually find it's better to just set the TDP and screen brightness according to your preference, but hey, AI. Oh, which actually reminds me, I am contractually obligated to tell you guys that with a dock, right, like Thunderbolt, connect to a monitor, eGPU, dock, whatever you want, this could be one of the most affordable Copilot Plus PCs, truly ready for the AI age. Oh man, dude, this is flipping wild. So you can adjust your TDP, you can adjust your fan speed. Obviously, 8 watts is gonna give you the longest battery life and 30 watts is gonna give you the most performance. But this is wild. At 17 watts, we found in almost every scenario, everything other than Rocket League, the new Claw 8 AI Plus outperformed the original Claw, even when the original Claw was at 35 watts. At half the power. Yes! That's what this kind of battle mage efficiency is gonna do for you. Flipping exciting. Too bad Pat Gelsinger isn't here to see it. Rest in peace, Pat. He's actually alive, but pray for him. Man, this screen is big. Not the biggest screen on a portable gaming device, but I think it's about as big as I would say is practical. Oh, I missed. God, I suck at this game. I am like unbearably bad at this game. One thing I can say for sure is that it's not MSI's fault that I suck. They've upgraded the Hall effect analog sticks and triggers. They've upgraded the LB and the RB buttons. They have upgraded the D-pad, which actually does feel a lot better now. You're definitely gonna enjoy it best if you have bigger hands. My tiny hands. MSI, thank you for putting these ribs down here so you can kind of rest your fingers anywhere you want. So there's kind of a spot to put your small fingies if you're me, and a spot to put your bigger fingies if you're someone else. But it's definitely a heftier device. Oh, we haven't even tried the speakers yet. Almost no distortion at full volume. They don't have the highest level of clarity that I've ever seen, but just by merit of being forward facing, they sound pretty darn decent, and they do shockingly well in the lows. MSI apparently upgraded the rubber for the speakers, so make of that what you will. Now that's everything that I absolutely have to cover, which means now I just get to play games. Let's fire up a classic, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, here we go. Man, that's a big screen. I didn't even notice when we were playing Rocket League, which means that cooling solution, she's quiet. Not just that, but this machine runs so much cooler than the last generation one. We kind of couldn't believe it. Check out these numbers from the lab. Really impressive. Okay, total power, 24 watts, 23 watts, 35 FPS. Now, obviously you're like, oh, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That's an old game, 35 FPS? Yeah, but my friends, check this out. It's cranked! Is that wild or what? Like seriously, you guys, if I turn this down to medium, okay? I turn this down to medium. Now I'm getting over 40 FPS. That is freaking crazy. Like, yeah, it's an older AAA game, but this is like a real game. You know, there's no Super Meat Boy. And on a screen this size, you really don't need to crank all the details. You don't even need to crank the resolution. Like running this at, 8-inch display, 720p might be a little low, but I bet you could get away with like 900p. Oh, right. I see super sampling as well. Sure, yeah, why not? Let's go quality. The smaller the screen, the less you're bound to notice something like super sampling. Not bad. Not bad. This is wild, man. If you'd shown this to me like a few years ago, I'd been like, nah. Listen how quiet that is. I am running a AAA freaking game right now. Can you even hear that, Andy? As soon as you've got game audio on, you are going to literally completely forget about it. Oh, I haven't even mentioned there's another version. There is a 7-inch version that's $100 cheaper, has a smaller battery, and obviously doesn't have the same screen. It's 7 inches, and it's 1920 by 1080. I think this is the more compelling version personally, but I leave that up to you. Ooh, tape to tape. Let's go. This is such a great device to play a game like this. No, I can't dim the screen. I like it bright. Yes, I'll dim the screen, give me a sec. Here's a fun fact, by the way, while I turn down the brightness. These quick settings are just part of the Xbox game bar. See that? So there's all kinds of other functions in here as well. Oh no, they got us chasing. Oh, here we go. I'm on the breakaway. I'm on the breakaway. Oh, come on. Okay, sorry, I can turn it down a bit. There, you good now that we're down to like 30%, Andy? Yeah, let's go! Man, there's no way I need 17 watts for this. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I would like to see, instead of having settings, sort of change which settings are here, I'd like it to like open up a deeper settings menu, or I mean, realistically, I don't even need that. I just need to be able to switch between all the different ones here. Like I'd like to have like just give me the TDPs. Just tell me how many watts it is. I think that's what I would probably prefer. I mean, maybe that's not the best for like a more mainstream user, but your mileage may vary. Just my manual TDP modes in game, that's what I'd like to be able to do, just so that if I don't launch the right one before I'm in game, I can just quickly change it after the fact. Oh man, I gotta spend less time trying to talk about this thing, and I gotta spend more time trying to win this game here. Where is everybody, guys? There's no line change, just, oh, follow me up the ice. See, finally, someone joins the rush with me. That's how we do it. Like any piece of gaming hardware, it's not gonna make you a better gamer, but I guess the endorsement that I can give it is the Claw won't make you a worse gamer, that's for sure. This thing rocks. While we wait for this to load, I'd love to see MSI introduce a TDP option between 17 watts and 30 watts. We found 17 watts, even in not the most demanding titles, we saw the odd frame pacing issue. It's probable that this can be addressed in drivers, but it would just be nice to have an in-between, because 30 watts, mwah, great. In some cases, just overkill. So I'd love to have like a 25 watt or like a 22 watt. Oh, is my CPU at 100%? I mean, yeah, that kind of checks out. GPU at 96%. The really impressive thing is that it's still not loud. Can you hear it? Yeah, can you see how close I am to the mic? Yeah. Like that's too close. You're not supposed to measure noise from that distance, but like I have to get it that close or you're not gonna hear it at all. So you throw on a little bit of music and you're vibing. That's an advantage of building a bigger device. So yeah, you get a little bit more weight, you get a little bit more heft, but you also get more room to put fat cooling in it and a fat battery. There is one uncomfortable part of this conversation. How much is a Claw 8 AI? Well, $900 US. Thanks for watching Short Circuit.